Well, when I saw the monster in Munjya, it felt like Golem from Lord of the Rings had sex with a tree, and it definitely did not turn out to be good. Well, actually, the tree reference is important here. So, the most recent release in the horror comedy universe of Maddock Films is Munjya. I am fond of Dinesh Vijan's universe that has some really great horror comedy movies with social messages like Stree and Bhedia. While Ruhi was a misfire, let's see what Munjya has for us in the box. The story of Munjya is inspired from a Konkan folklore. The folklorist story goes back to 1952, where a young guy called Gotia who falls for an older girl called Munni, and of all things he could do, he resorts to black magic to get her love interest. But things fall apart and Gotia ends up losing his life, and since all this shit happens between his thread ceremony, his spirit ends up getting stuck inside a tree. Coming back to the present, Bittu, the lead of the movie, played by Abhay Verma, visits his ancestral village where he is latched upon by Munjya to get his unfulfilled desires. Bittu, whose love interest Bela, played by Sharvari, who is also older to him, becomes a part of Munjya's attention. And how Bittu will be able to save Bella from Munjya's havoc forms the basic premise of Munjya. Let's start with the things I liked about the movie: the folkish feel and the cinematography. No doubt India has a rich text of folklore across region, and when it's done right, it can be rewarding. Is something that movies like Tumbar, Brahmayugam and Kantara have proved in the recent past. While Maddock has been able to surprise us each time with a mix of fun and chills in this universe that started with Stree, and I can only appreciate their innovative take on expanding the universe with movies on vengeful spirits, curses related to mythical creatures, and folk tales from villages. With Munjaya, yet again Maddock has made an attempt to integrate the folkish atmosphere from a village setting, and this is elevated by a very flary cinematography by Saurabh Goswami, and is also one of the strongest points. With its folkish theme, the movie is highly dependable on the forest and village setting, and Saurabh, as a cinematographer, makes sure that he makes the most of it through his skills. Along with this, I think the movie also had fine performances, especially from Mona Singh, who plays Bittu's mother. Her dialogue delivery and comic timing sets her apart from the other actors in the movie and makes her a show stealer. While this was the first time I was watching Abhay Verma, who plays the lead, and I think while he gave a lot of Harry Potter vibe, the guy did a very fine job as Bittu. A guy who is being troubled by the spirit that's only visible to him, and this also make all his friend think he is under some drug consumption post evening. Abhay finally brings this calmness and eccentricity of Bittu to life and leaves an impression, while Sharvari, as his love interest, also does a fine job. And while the movie is a horror comedy, it mostly does well with the comic part, which was also very reflective in the trailer. The nature of Munjya is such, it is more mischievous than menacing, and this also leads to the movie being mostly funny and almost hardly any chills or horror. More than being an advantage, I felt that this was something that did not work well for me, especially when you compare it to a Stree, which I think is the perfect blend for horror and comedy that I have seen since Bhool Bhulaiya. Even Bhedia, which relied highly on comedy, had its fine creature spooky moments and a larger message, both of which were missing in Munjya. The comedy too at times did not come across as funny. The CGI and how they made Munjya look is something I was also not a big fan of. While it reminds you of Gollum, it also strongly gives the funny vibe, completely taking away any scary element that the character could have added. Also, the CGI is not great and no match for what we saw in movie like Bhedia. So overall, I think Munjya is just a decent watch. It is nowhere close to Stree or even a Bhedia. It's just an average horror comedy that is mostly funny and not scary. So this was the video on Munjya. If you like the video, please press the like button and subscribe to the channel for more such content.